What is up? What is up? Welcome back to Attack on Titan, a talk on Titan. This is season 4, episode 2, Midnight Train. I'm here with Ben Goddard in the house. What is up, man?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. I am excited. We got a lot of information in this episode.
Yes,
a lot of exposition that we needed, honestly. And I kind of feel. I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, but I kind of feel like we have a new protagonist this season, or at least the first half of the season. Welcome to Reiner.
Yeah,
the Reiner show.
Literally said it felt like with the first episode we got and with the preview, I was like, I think we're going to be with these mainland Eldians for the first half of this final season. And it seems like that's the trajectory we're going. I don't think we're going to see our trio till episode 13. Season 4, part 2.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't know about you, man, but again, this is me being a massive Reiner fan. I'm all about it. I'm like, give me the Reiner show. Give me the Reiner background. This is all Reiner's POV and Gabby's POV too, Gabby and Falco. But for the most part, I was like, this is so cool because we get to see his point of view, his perspective on what he has lived so far. I'm loving this, man. I don't know about you, but I want to get your thoughts on this episode for sure.
Like, the way we got introduced to Reiner, like Reiner and reintroduced to him, so battle hardened, so just weary, so tired. He's dropping out of a plane and he's just like, yep. Okay, here we go. Like, that's how long he's been in this. And he said, he's like, I left my mom when I was 12. They got to the island when they were 12. And so what is he? He's probably 21 now, and he 21. Looks like a 40-year-old. Like, that's how he's lived some years. Yeah. And we found out so much info, but I'm okay with this, but I'll let you kind of guide us through the episode. But we are seeing this total different perspective of the show. And that's why I love this show, is that it keeps pivoting and we don't know what to expect. And we're seeing the villains. People that we hate. We were, like you said, we said last week, we were with Aaron. We were crying. We were raging. We were so mad at these three, Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner. We hated them.
Especially Zeke.
And
we hated Zeke
like,
more than anyone.
But now we're seeing, like, oh my gosh, like they're either brainwashed or they're just fighting for their entire people to survive while they're living in literally Holocaust camps.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the more you put these two episodes together, episodes 1 and 2, you start to see, like, wait a minute, we got that little side piece of what Gabby said in episode 1, as far as like, once I do this, I will finally save my people, the Eldians. Yeah. And then in this episode, it made it seem like, bear with me here, Zeke, I don't know if Zeke said this, where if we do this, if we get all the Titans back, they won't exterminate our species. Like, it's that big of a deal where if they fail, or if somehow they see the Titans as like expendable now, and this new world order starts to say that Titans should be purged completely, including the Marley's Titans, then maybe they'll just exterminate them all, like literally Holocaust extermination style.
They've got them. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. But yeah, so, that's the thing, is that
if that's the case, then it's kind of not. It's hard not to see their side, right? Where it's like, if Reiner is fighting for, like, hey, if you don't do this, Reiner, we'll exterminate your entire species, and it's like your entire race of people, and it's like, oh crap, I better do this. So yeah, that's crazy.
And that's the thing, Gabby's turning into a little bit of like this cocky, like go get him type character, but you can't help but be happy for the entire Eldian. Like, you could tell that it wasn't, when they got back home to, is it like Birio? Is that what it was called?
Liberio, yeah.
You could tell that it was like, oh, we're so happy to see you, but it was like they didn't expect anyone to come home. They knew when they got drafted, or they, forced into this, that they were literally going to die. And if it wasn't for Gabby making the play of the century against the Mideast army, they all would have, gone World War I out into the bunker again. And you saw the shell-shocked PTSD veterans of the war, and they still don't care. They still have zero pity for these people, or zero empathy whatsoever. And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
well, it feels like to me that the Marleys are like an older brother to the Eldians, where it's like your younger brother is starting to get stronger, they're starting to get taller, they're starting to get bigger, but you got to keep them down with that mental warfare game. Like, okay, you have the Titans, you have this power that we can never possess, but we're going to use you. And like in every turn, like even when Zeke is just talking with it's not Falco, it's his older brother. I always forget the names. Colt. He's like, oh, you guys think you deserve privacy? Never. And like, makes him light a cigarette. And even though they just took his advice about what they're going to do next.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I noticed that scene where it's like Zeke is like the big daddy, president, war chief, #1 boss of the Eldians. And even he's like, yes, sir, here you go, sir. And it's like, damn, bro. Like even Zeke was like, I don't know, 40, 35. I don't know how old he is, but he's old, right? He's not like a kid. Even he's like kissing their boots and kissing their butt. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like you're top dog.
Yeah.
and even he's doing that.
You heard that guy. He's like, how are you so good with the Beast Titan? You don't have any royal blood in you.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, one day I'll tell you my secret. It's how I wipe my ass. But does he know that his mom has royal blood? I don't know if he does or not, because I feel like he's hiding that.
Maybe. It's one of those things, though, because the Owl last season told Gracia to not say that, right? So we know that maybe the Marleys don't know for sure. But we don't know if Zeke knows if his own mother is royal. And that's the other thing, Ben, because I was going to get back to this because I rewatched the first episode like 20 times because I had a full week to do it. So I kind of went back and I was like, oh, what if all this time I completely forgot that Zeke is royal blood. What if he can turn Titans because of his royal blood? It's something that occurred to me where I was like, can he do that because he's the Beast Titan, or can he do that because he's royal? I don't know what you think of that.
That too, because they say the founding Titan only works with the member of a royal family to control the other Titans, to control the Eldians, and I think that has to do with it, and I think that's why he can do it when he's not in Titan form. Because he did it, when they retook Shigan-Shisha, before he transformed, all the Titans transformed, and he did it when they were falling out of the plane. So I have to think that his dad, that Grisha, would have told Zeke everything. I feel like he would have, but I think Zeke is so smart, whether he's fighting for the Marleys, but keeping his cards close to the chest or vest, whichever phrase you want to use, when it comes to his own people, because he's fighting for the Marleys because he's playing the bigger game. He's like, I'm playing like the enemy of my enemy has to be my friend right now, because I have to kill the Islanders, the Paradisers, to please the Marleys. And then once that is over, once we have the founding Titan with us, then we'll take on the Marleys. I
didn't even think of that. That's crazy. So he's more pro Eldian than Eren and the Eldians, because he wants to save the Eldians on his land, not the Eldians on maybe you're right. Maybe he is sick of the internment zone and he's sick of being a second-class citizen, and he's saving the whole founding Titan for himself because he knows he's the only one who can control it all the way. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, he's got 1 year left, right? He kept saying it. He's like, I got 1 year left. I'm going all in, YOLO. And it's one of those things where, maybe he does know that he is royal, and he just doesn't say anything. But again, it's difficult because Colt was like, oh, you're the greatest Beast Titan ever, and it's because he is a royal. I mean, that's kind of why he is the greatest Beast Titan ever. It's because he has that royal blood, which even then he acknowledges to the war general, saying like, I don't even know if Colt's going to have all my powers once he inherits the Beast Titan, implying that maybe Colt doesn't have the royal blood that he does.
Yeah, Colt doesn't have the royal blood, so he's not going to. I think you're right, that he can turn humans, Eldians, into Titans with his voice because of his royal bloodline. And I think he's like you said, he's putting all this, he's putting everything into this final run. And do you think that he's gonna, does he want to eat Eren? If you eat another person, do you get another 13 years? Or is he trying to be like, no, Eren, this is what we have to do. He's going to take him and he's going to sit him down and be like, I'm going to learn you some stuff today. This is the real fight. Like we've been fighting each other because they won't let us do anything else, because the Beast Titan and the Armor Titan can't do anything by themselves with the technology that's against us now. And with the younger class, you see how this younger class is. You see how Colt is. You see how Gabby is. Both, and I just don't think that Reiner and Zeke know that they can trust each other yet. But you saw in that meeting, and I'll bring up the Warrior meeting. You saw in this meeting when it was just them, they're like, "Oh, no Marley command here." He's like, "Not in this room." And they literally say that. The Marley command says, "I didn't like that Zeke said not in this room." He knows it's bugged. He knows, but I just don't. I think they're all like kind of playing the slow game, like wonder, because even Colt said it, or Falco said it when Reiner was like, you need to take the Armor Titan because you actually question things. You're not Gabby. Gabby might be the best student and the best warrior, but she is Marley through and through. Even though they don't like her, they don't, and we got more of that. And that's what I love about this. Like, they're really driving home about what second-class citizens they are in this world.
Yeah, there's so many layers to it, right? Because again, you think about Eren, and it's one of those things where Eren can't access the full powers. But the last few seasons, they made it a point to say that if you do have the royal blood, if you're full royal, then you will be brainwashed by your ancestors' memories. That's what they said about, I forget Homegirl's name, the one that Gracia ate. But where she was like,
it's Rice. She was a Rice member.
I forget her first name. But they said, like, if you have their memories, no matter what you do, you can't control I think they said the fortitude or the strength of your ancestors, as far as like them saying and doing what they want you to do, almost as if they like live inside of you and they're telling you this is what you have to do, and you can't control their brainwashing inside your own memories. Which is why I'm like, how do they break that? Do they maybe give Eren to someone else who's like half royal or is part royal, or maybe I don't think we've even gotten to this, but maybe Zeke has a son, maybe Zeke has a kid, maybe it's Falco, maybe it's Colt, maybe it's one of those guys. Maybe just because they look like each other, I'm just like, what if that's like his kid or his cousin or his nephew or something related to him, that he has a little bit of royal blood in him, to where Falco is important because of his royal blood or something.
And I think that maybe the only reason Eren didn't get brainwashed is because he only has half, not even half, like he's not connected. But I think like Zeke's kid or something would be able to control Titans, but also not get his memory wiped, because he'd only be, half or a quarter, whatever blood division is, whatever you want to do. I feel weird talking about this and not sounding like incredibly racist.
I think it's fine. I think this is what this show is trying to make us talk about. But it's one of those things where it's like, how do you break that? I mean, obviously, it's the whole like Hanji, Erwin kind of thing, where it's like the two big brains try to figure out how to, or Armin. I mean, shout out to Armin. I always forget him because I'm still mad at him for being chosen over Erwin. But no, I'm just playing. I can't lie, dude. When Zeke was like, we can't get in. Who is this special weapon that they have? And he's like, I'm telling you guys, it's not the Titans. And I was like, it's Erwin. And I was, yeah. R.I.P. I kind of wanted him to be like, it's Erwin. He's the greatest ever. But he didn't say that. But yeah, to me, it's like one of those things where you try and figure out the whole loophole, I guess is the word I'm looking for, around the whole controlling the founding Titans' power. Now that Eren is literally two Titans in one, founding and attack. But let's go back to the beginning of the episode, where it's Zeke essentially saying, hey, technology has catched up to us. The only way we're going to counter back is if we go back to the first mission, which is go back to Paradise and try to take down Paradise. Literally take it down. I don't think he even implied like a secret espionage mission. I think he really means like full war. Like, let's straight up bomb the place. Let's go straight up military style with like ships and army and all that. Which is
they tried the infiltration, and they came back with 2 less Titans than they arrived with, and a
Reiner who's like PTSD'd out, so he's
they got lucky they even got Ymir back. They got lucky they even got the Jaw Titan back, because she could have easily dipped out with Historia, and Reiner and Bertolt would have died right there. And so, some random Eldians that were climbing all over him would have, been like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But oh man, that was so sad to see Ymir back too when we met what's his name?
Galliard.
But yeah, going back to that, I do love that because we talked about it last week where they barely won. If Reiner didn't take that full naval attack and save Zeke, they might have lost that battle with that final volley from the Navy. And so I'm glad that, they talked about, they're bringing this up, that even the paper's like, yeah, we won the war, kinda, but every paper's like, they barely won. The Titans aren't that strong. You can build this, and this and have anti-Titan guns everywhere.
Yeah, which again goes to show as far as like how short-lived these Titan armies can go if you have that kind of technology, which is why they want the founding Titan, which will make the tide swing in their favor. That's the thing. Like Zeke wants to lead this kind of military tactic towards Paradise again, and the Marleys are all for it, at least so far. That General McGath, I think his name is McGath.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we got like the head top dog Hitler looking homie as well, who I don't think we got his name. But that we got as far as them going back to Paradise. I don't know when this is going to take place. But again, at least now we know that this is their plan, that they're going to bring these little kids, which is even more messed up, to Paradise and to go to war with them. And then where else am I? So they wanted to do that. And then we got Reiner having that flashback of Mikasa kicking him out of the armored Titan and then waking up next to Galliard. And we finally meet Galliard, who, as soon as I saw him, I was like, isn't that Marcel? And then when we saw that it wasn't Marcel, we found out that it was his brother. He said, my brother went with you. My brother saved your life. He got eaten by Ymir. And then she came back and I ate Ymir. So we brought the Jaw Titan back into the fold, which is kind of funny. It was like, oh, the Jaw was my brother's. Then it was this other girl who ate my brother. And now I ate her. So I'm the Jaw Titan again. But it's interesting, right? Because did we see Galliard at the end of season 3, part 1? Was that him? You know what I'm saying? When we saw Reiner at the top of the roof, at the top of the wall. I'm sorry. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, but I don't. It's a quick 2-second scene where Reiner is at the top of the wall looking towards Eren and Erwin riding towards them, or at least imaginarily looking towards them, right? As far as like looking towards the horizon. But I thought that was Marcel, and I thought Reiner was like imagining Marcel. Okay. As far as that, but I don't know, maybe that was Galliard, because they look identical. Like if you go back and if you look at the animation between the two, they have the same haircut and everything. That was Bertolt. Okay. But if you see the two, they look really, really similar. But either way, as soon as I saw Galliard, I was like, that looks like Marcel. The guy who saved Reiner and got eaten by Ymir. Now we know it's Galliard. And now we know, too, I guess we can jump towards the end of the episode. Galliard is working even deeper for the Marleys. He's undercover, even like he's undercover. As far as feeding, he's bugged as far as like he's wearing a wire to feed information.
You think Galliard was wearing the wire, or was the wire in the record player? I thought that's where the wire was. I thought that's where the camera focused towards.
Yeah, so the guy, the reason why I say this is because one of the generals or the captains said, Galliard never fails us, man. He's done it again. He's helping us out. And I was like, oh, so is he like bugging the place? Because he said Galliard never fails us. He's helping us out again. I think it was Galliard convincing the other like Titans, other warriors, that this is the right plan. I could be wrong though. I only got to watch it once because I've been running around all day. Yeah,
I've only seen it once. So I do, especially that scene, because there's so many layers to that one scene alone where, Reiner's kind of put his cards a little bit on the table with Colt. Like, this is what you need to do. And I'm going to help you do it. Like, you need to get to the armored Titan. Like, either Gabby needs to go in some freak accident or something like that, or you need to prove yourself more than she has, and he's got a long way to go, especially with after what Gabby did in the final battle. And so you saw how he was at dinner, where he was like, "Oh, this person was terrible." You know, he brought up Sasha, which I thought was like the funniest thing to bring up. It was like Sasha with the potato. I was like, of all the things to bring up, you're bringing up Sasha's dumbass. Okay,
yeah.
But then he's like, and they're all types of people. And just that one sentence, that's how paranoid and on edge these people have to be with even one sentence. They're all types of people. That's the most nonchalant, anything. But the fact that it's not calling them devils and the worst people on the planet and the spawn of Satan, they're like, oh, all types of people. What do you mean? Like, so in the next meeting, the war meeting, that I think everyone knows that's the thing. That's the only reason I don't think Galliard is like a quadruple agent or whatever. Is that I think Zeke for sure knew that they were bugged. Zeke for sure knew. So either he's on to Galliard or he just knew that the bug was in the record player. And then that's why Reiner jumped there. He's like, I don't care. We're doing this for our Marley overlords. Like, and he's like super gung ho about it because he's like, I think I slipped up a little bit last night at dinner, so I got to make up for it with some extra zeal today.
I caught that too. I think that Reiner knew that they were bugged as well. As far as that's why he was like, oh, long live Marley. Now I was like, oh, that sounds a little too much. Yeah. Because even the other ones who have been there longer than Reiner has, as far as like on Marley, weren't acting like that. So I was like, yeah, that's probably Reiner acting up a little bit. But it's one of those things where the reason why I kind of go back to it is because Galliard said, yo, what's up, Zeke? Where's the brass? And then that's when Zeke was like, not in this room. Like, don't say that in this room, I think is what he meant. Or at least it's not in this room. That's why I was like, oh, when I went back and rewatched that scene, I was like, maybe Galliard is a double agent because he asked specifically for brass, which again, I don't know, it could be referencing anything. And that's when Zeke responded, not in this room. Yeah. So maybe it could be either or. I could see Galliard being like just a regular dude, a friend of Reiner's, or a double agent who's like deeper into Marley than even Zeke is. But again, it really goes to show you the level that these Eldians are living in Marley or living in the situation that they're in. I want to go to, we saw Galliard, and then we met Piek. Who's just this chill, weird, quirky girl. And I got a kick out of it. I was like, that's the cart titan? What? Who can barely walk because she's not used to walking bipedal is what she said.
Yeah, and that's what made me wonder because, you know, we never saw her human form in season 3. So how often is she a titan? Like, is she one of those? It reminds me of, did you ever read Animorphs? It's a book called Animorphs, and it was about these kids that like get this alien power to turn into animals, but you can only do it for 2 hours at a time. But there's this kid named Tobias who loved turning into a falcon so much that he got stuck as being a falcon. So like he just loved, and I feel like this is Piek, is that she loves being the card titan so much that she doesn't want to be human. Like, and I honestly, I don't blame her. As a human, as an Eldian human in the world she lives, she's a second-class citizen. She gets treated like crap. She has to stay in designated areas. Probably can't go outside by herself. You know, is constantly degraded. But as the card titan, she's useful. She's powerful. She's wanted. She's needed. And so I can't really blame her for wanting to be the card titan 24/7.
Yeah, so the way I took it, and that's a cool read, absolutely. The way I took it is that they've been in war for so long that she's just been the cart titan for like we've never seen her as anything else other than the cart titan. Us as like audience members, like we saw her the first time in season 3 as the cart titan, never as a human form. And then we saw her this season as the card titan, not in human form. Like, I just took it as like she's been in war for so long. She even mentions it to Galliard as far as like Galliard's like, man, I haven't seen you in a minute. And she's like, yeah, but I see you every day as we're fighting. We're literally side by side. Yeah. So I mean, that's one of those things where it's like she's just constantly in battle that she's just not used to walking straight up, which I thought was crazy. But what I thought was crazier was her personality.
She's chill, bro.
Like a sweet, like goofy, quirky girl, like not a menacing, evil cart titan that I imagined. I guess is kind of what I imagined. I didn't imagine like this sweet, quirky girl. I just really didn't.
No, like, and that was the thing is that like you expected almost like this like Igor type person, you know, because like, with how the Card Titan was acting in season 3,
and it's the most deformed looking Titan.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it got and then it has like the Black Sabbath death metal mask on it with the chain guns, and you're like, oh, it's her. Okay.
Yeah, definitely something interesting. I want to give a shout out to the chat. Anyone in the chat, please no spoilers for anything that we don't know in the manga. Anything that we might not have caught as far as like manga, like, oh, they teased something in the manga, and I'm like, please don't tell us if they did. Please. We don't know. Let us figure it out for ourselves. I think it's more fun that way.
Yeah.
Also, but yeah, PX stood out to me just because I didn't expect that at all.
No, I loved it though.
One more thing I have before we get to the whole Tiber thing is Reiner and the kids. Apparently, the kids love Reiner.
They love him.
And he's like their big brother who's like, everyone's like, can we hang out with Reiner, man?
Yeah.
And he's like their like fun, loving uncle who just wants to like hang out with them all the time. And he's like, I don't know, a legend in their eyes because he came back from paradise or something. That's how I took it, as far as like, oh, maybe because he came back, everyone's like, man, this guy's a badass. He came back.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why all the kids look up to him. But what'd you think of that? Because I thought that was adding another layer to make Reiner even more likable.
It is, and that's the thing, is that they're really going out of their way to show like this different side of Reiner. And I think it's because, and you saw, you know, his flash of him seeing Bertolt Annie himself, and then what was the Jaw Titan, his older brother, Galliard Marcel. You saw him flashback like, oh my gosh, that was us. That was us. Like, go get him. Marley's all the way, all this stuff, and now they're all gone. He's the only one left. Annie is still somewhere in Crystal, and the other two are dead. And so he's like, I think I have to, and I think that was like his turning point. It's like, I think I have to do something about this, because this is the next generation of brainwash, you know, Marley sycophants, and I need to do something about it.
Yeah, I'm so curious what Reiner's like ultimate mission is, or if Reiner's even all the way there. I don't know. Like, if Reiner's all the way as far as like mentally there, because we know Reiner is like a bipolar as far as what his mentality is. Yeah, and we saw a little bit of that when he was at his kitchen table, family table, having dinner, doing the whole Sasha bit, where I was like, is he playing? Is he losing his mind a little bit? Is he trying to justify his actions by making Sasha look like a monster, even though it's just a goofy girl with a potato?
Yeah.
That's what took me out of it, where I was like, I'm trying to read that scene as many ways as I can, because I didn't understand if maybe Reiner was like trying to justify himself by saying Sasha was evil. She wouldn't share her potato. Because that's basically what he said. And I was like, is he joking? Is he trying to justify it as far as making Sasha the most fun-loving person?
Like, I genuinely think he hates Eren. I think, like,
I agree with that.
Because Eren's a paradiser. I think he just hates Eren as a person. Like, as an individual. He's just like, you're an idiot, but somehow you have two of the most powerful Titans. And I think that it goes back to him saying, like, I couldn't have picked a worse person to get these. And that's for saying, like, if two more capable people had the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan, maybe my people would be free. But instead, it's with this crybaby emotional idiot that doesn't do anything for the cause. And so, like, I think that's where Reiner's viewpoint is coming from. He's just like, I hate that Eren has it. Like, if Mikasa had it, or if Armin had it, or if Levi had it, maybe it'd be a different story, because I could talk to them. You can't talk to Eren. And we saw that. He tried so many times, like when, you know, Eren's in the tree healing up next to Mir. It's like, I want to tell you something, but you won't listen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Reiner has any, you know, love for Eren at all. Yeah. He definitely has love for his little kids, his little brothers and sisters, his little alien friends. But I don't necessarily see him necessarily being like full paradise loving at all either, but not necessarily full Marley either, as we see from other people.
he's got that older brother mentality because you saw what he did with Armin and Connie. He saved Connie, like he almost died. He almost died in the tower in season 2, like saving Connie from a Titan. And he saved Armin so many times and didn't kill him. And, it's like there's so many moments where Reiner has shown that big brother mentality. So seeing this like in full, like we've been through hell together type things is so great.
Yeah. That's why, man, I love Reiner, man. I would say he's definitely like top 3, top 4 favorite characters for me since season 2, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's why I'm so happy to make this season more about him and more about his mission. We also got that funny scene in the train. As far as like, everybody's Colt celebrating Gabby and basically telling the legendary story of Gabby destroying the armored train, which I guess is now like an Eldian legend. And him like picking her up and cheering.
Well, I think that. Well, it's just like they have so little to celebrate because I'm sure over the 4-year war that, those 800 people, that's probably all that's left of the younger generation of Eldians. They probably all got drafted. They probably all got thrown headfirst into every single battle. And especially if it's trench warfare, they're dying thousands at a time. And so, yeah, like he's saying, because, not everybody was there. He's like, this person saved you from doing yet another headfirst charge into dozens of machine guns that wasn't going to do anything. Like the war was not going to end that day if it wasn't for Gabby, sorry.
Yeah, and what I love though is the way that Gabby responded to it, as far as like she was like, no, please, Colt, stop, and then she was like, me, me. When
she was on his shoulders, like,
I love that, but it also shows a little bit of what Colt is, right? Because Colt is like supposed to be the next Beast Titan, but he's the only one who's drunk, which I thought was kind of interesting. No, Galliard's not drunk, PX not drunk. I mean, obviously the little kids can't drink, but like none of the older ones. I don't know why that stood out to me. I don't know. Maybe it's because he has more demons that he has to deal with, or maybe the responsibility of being the Beast Titan's kind of weighing on him.
I think maybe because he's already been chosen. Because I think, everybody else is proven. I think because we don't know who's going to be next in line for Reiner, but we know that Falco is the next one for the Beast Titan. Like like he's in, he's right next to Zeke in the war meetings with all the Marleys. Like, so he's up there. He is he's getting in there. He is in like the top brass meetings, but I think that's why he can let just a little bit relax. Like, he's still second class. We saw like, you guys don't deserve privacy. Get out of here. Like, light my cigarette, wipe, polish my feet. But when it comes to, getting drunk in the back of a train, even, the Marley general was like, let them have tonight. Like, just give it to them. Like he doesn't say they earned it, but because I think, that would be like treasonous to say they earned anything, but he was just like, let's let them have that. Like,
he said one night.
For one night while they're crammed into a train car. Like the Holocaust comparisons could not be more clear.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously I already mentioned the Hitler looking home. He literally looks like Hitler without the mustache. But it's one of those things where it's interesting to see the personalities of a Galliard, of a Colt, of a Piek, who's like literally laying down on the couch, like slumped over in the meeting they had at the end.
She's laying like the car Titan. That was the thing. Like she's laying on all fours. She's laying like
she needs to be on her stomach.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I thought that was hysterical too. But again, it goes to show you her personality, which we imagine to be this. At least I did. I don't know why I thought the car Titan was going to be the most like savage gangster,
like Frankenstein Igor, like, yes, master, yes, I will get the carts for you. But no, it's like this girl who needs, we know that Titans heal perfectly, like all the time, but she literally needs a crutch because she's been on all fours for so much of her life.
Yeah, that stood out to me for sure. Obviously, let's get to the Tiber family, which we got a little bit of information. Hopefully you can help me out here because it was kind of hard to read everything that Piek was saying as far as like, well, the Tiber family, blah, 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 blah. And she said it's super fast. And I was trying to rewatch it a few times. Yeah. But it's apparently like a rich family who has avoided the war because of their wealth, I'm assuming. Also, as far as them wanting Marley to succeed as well, is what they said. And then Galliard is like, oh, why would we want their help? Like, they live in their castle and they don't care about us. Why would we want to make them heroes? And then he said, hey, we need the Warhammer Titan, which again, we finally got the reveal of the final Titan that we didn't know about. But what did you think of that whole thing as far as the Tybers and what they sound like?
Again, like, the show just keeps you guessing, like, we're 2 weeks into this and we're like, okay, we have these established things. We're getting new characters. We have these established social norms for the Eldians and the Marleys. But then there's the Tiber family, which apparently they're Eldians as well, but somehow they're not in this Holocaust camp. They have their own mansions. They have their own wealth, apparently enough to buy them out of the draft and to
buy them out of the war.
Yeah. They have to be asked by the Marleys to use their Titan. So what kind of Titan is the Warhammer Titan is my question, that literally bought them freedom, bought them out of the war, and bought them basically immunity from any kind of persecution, so much so that the Marleys have to go ask them nicely, like, hey, can we use the Warhammer Titan? When, like, the Marleys like hate the Eldians, but like, we hate the Eldians, but we also have rule over the Eldians. So all these Titans are ours, and we're going to use you however we see fit. We're going to throw you out of a plane and turn you into Titans and land you on, like, use you as basically artillery. That's how little low class we think of you. But the Tiber family is it's not just an exception. Like, it's just this far removed. And I'm so curious to see what the Tiber family is next week. Because that's such a left turn. That's such a monkey wrench in this whole social class that they've built in this world. It's like, what excludes, like, it's so crazy.
No, I absolutely agree. That's the first thing I thought. That's what I told you last week. I was like, there's no way, if there's another Eldian Titan, that they have anything to do with the Marleys, because they would be in the war. They would be seen. They would be second-class citizens. That's why I was like, oh, maybe they're like in another country or in another nation. But when we found out, they're like, oh, they're pro-Marley too. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Then why aren't they like fighting in the war, and why aren't they treated like crap like everyone else? But I guess it's their wealth. I don't know. I imagine like the Lannisters is kind of what I thought of, as far as like, maybe they're just so wealthy and powerful. And it's probably like, I'm assuming like this Warhammer Titan is like, I don't know why I imagine like GOAT level, like straight up like LeBron James, like unbeatable, unstoppable, so powerful, because it's like this rich family.
It has to be this like
Jaime Lannister.
This god tier, like, not even Jaime Lannister. It has to be the Mountain. It has to be the Mountain where literally
Tywin Lannister. No, I'm kidding.
No, like the Mountain, the Hound in the Mountain. It has to be the Mountain where literally just his combat prowess rose that family into prominence. And it has to be something like that where they, like, the Marleys have to ask them. They've never probably messed with the Tybers. And so it's just like, we have to go ask them for this. Even though we barely won the war without it, we're going into another Titans battle now against Paradisers that kicked the crap out of us last time we tried to infiltrate them. And it's just like someone that has been, like, has immunity for this whole persecution, this whole, like, generations and generations of persecution. And somehow the Tybers are excluded from it. Like, I'm so curious to see what got them out of it and why now they're only asking for it now.
You froze a little.
Yeah, you're frozen on mine too. Yeah, I'll leave and oh, did my internet go out? Nope. Are we still here, y'all? Chat, are we still here? Okay, there you are.
Cool. Sorry, man.
No, yeah, I didn't know if it was mine or not.
Me neither. So all good, brother.
Yeah. So what are your theories about the Tiber family outside of the the Warhammer Titan being the GOAT?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has to do with wealth. Maybe it's some sort of like family treaty they had with the president of Marley or the ruler of Marley or something like that, that has to do more with like upper class citizens, where maybe they're like the old school. What if they're like the old school Ackermans, where similar to the Hound in the Mountain, they're protectors of the inner circle of Marley, the super like wealthy, rich rulers, kind of like the Ackermans war for the Rises or the Fritz. as far as the royal family goes, and they're like the super warrior protectors, kind of like the Ackermans have the superpower warrior skills.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe the
And
Tybers.
they're not brainwashed by the
Exactly.
founding titan. Yeah.
Yeah, what if they're like the anti-Ackermans, where the Tybers have that same like super warrior power that Levi and Mikasa have? Maybe that's what it is. As far as like maybe that's why they get immunity from like this is like last resort, because this is our ultimate weapon that is only used to defend like the 1% or like the main ruler. Maybe that's what it is.
It's such an interesting thing, like in a like quote unquote slow episode where it's just a lot of information, to throw that out in the very last scene. That because we were speculating that the guy reading the newspapers, the ninth Titan, we were speculating like that the Titan's in hiding, or maybe someone on the island has it, but no, like this is in broad daylight. This Titan, everybody knows about the Warhammer Titan. We've just never thought to use them because it's part of this exclusive family. And it's so interesting to see where this is going to go. And it speaks to the quality of this show that we have no plans. We saw it, the little preview for the next episode. We have no plans to get to our 3 main characters and the people that we've spent 3 seasons with, getting to know and bleeding with and dying with. And we're like, okay, but don't care.
Is it kind of weird that I prefer, okay, I will break the internet right here. Is it kind of weird that I prefer Reiner Attack on Titan than Eren Attack on Titan?
Oh no. Okay, Reiner versus Eren is a conversation, but for me the supporting cast of the Paradisers is better. I prefer them to the little kids so far. I'm excited to see what the dichotomy of Colt and Gabby. You saw them sparring in the little tiny 10-second preview we get for the next episode. I think that's going to be the focus, is those two, because we're like kind of teasing it, like the power dynamic of them too. Like even Gabby's like, no, what are you going to go train? It's over, dude. It's over. The Armor Titan is mine. It is over. It is. I'm up 3-0 in a Game 7 series right now. Like throw in the towel. You are Nate Robinson. I'm Jake Paul. Like just give it up. And
that's why she kind of. I don't know if she has to die or she has to like. I mean, how else is she not going to get it, right? Or unless it's like this last ditch thing where Reiner is like, "Hey, take this injection and eat me real quick before Gabby gets here."
It might be something like that. Like it might be that kind of desperation thing, where. But I think that even if he got it, unless they had like this crazy plan of like Zeke's on board, Falco's on board, and Colt's on board in the same thing, like we've seen Zeke beat the crap out of Reiner, like no problem. Like we saw, that was was that the season 3 part 1 cliffhanger where Reiner gets the crap beat out of him. He's like, okay, we're gonna do it my way.
Yeah, I think that's one of them for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And we saw that Zeke was just chilling, man. He was like, "Oh, I won. We're going to do it my way." Like he wasn't out of breath, and Reiner was like the crap beat out of him. So for me, it's got to do something with Gabby, because I feel like Zeke could just take back the Armor Titan and like beat him, have him getting eaten, and like, okay, you got to transform one time into the Armor Titan. You didn't know how to use him that well, and I won the fight.
Yeah, it really is interesting as far as what's going to happen there with the Armor Titan. I'm sure that's a storyline that'll keep on coming. I also love that Zeke, I kind of laughed at it a little bit earlier as far as him being afraid of Erwin, and he's actually talking about Levi and Mikasa. But the idea of like Zeke being like, "Hey guys, by the way, there's like a ninja on the other side of the ocean."
That's what I love.
I don't think anyone can beat.
No, like they're all, every single Eldian in the army is like hyping Zeke up, like you're so good. And Levi took him out in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you think about it, like Eren beat Reiner, Zeke whooped Reiner's ass. We know that. So it's like different levels to this game.
The transitive properties like keep going in favor of the Islanders, where it's like Mikasa beat Reiner, Eren beat Reiner, Levi beat Zeke. Like any way you want to.
Erwin beat them all. No, I'm kidding. I go back to Erwin.
Dude, I'm an Armin fan, and I do love the one touch of like Erwin unconsciously slapping away the needle. We're like, dude, I have done terrible things to try and win this fight. I've sacrificed so many people. Don't make me do it anymore. Like this unconscious thing of like, let me rest. But man, did I want to see Erwin as the Colossal Titan.
That would have been incredible.
Like just
incredible.
Armin doesn't believe
Marley
himself. He's very
would have
smart.
been quivering in the booth.
No. Yeah, it'd be over.
Done.
Erwin as the Colossal Titan is just like, oh my god, like that's just game over, man. Game over.
Yeah. but again, it also kind of goes to show, and I see Helsing 7747 in the chat saying Levi is scarier than a Titan. Yeah, it's one of those things where like I always thought that Levi was just like a really like insane like warrior fighter, but then in season 3, I believe, when Levi goes to Mikasa, and same with Kenny, right? Because when we meet Kenny, Kenny is like unstoppable too. And we find out that he's like, oh, by the way, the Ackermans have superpowers. And I was like, what? You can't just like say that. It's like, by the way, have you ever had this like switch go off in your brain where you suddenly lifted like 1,000 pounds over your head? And Mikasa was like, yeah, I totally did when I was a little girl. And I stabbed like 3 dudes.
Like that one stab perfectly to the heart. And that goes back to because I remember a long time ago, because I'm up late night YouTubing and I kept watching the Annie Mikasa fight, which I hope that they'll address sometime, like of who won that fight, because I need to know. Don't tell me in the chat though. But there's a line by Annie. It says because Annie's choking out Eren, is like, you need to learn this, you need to learn this, and then Erwin comes flying in like and hit Reiner comes flying in, and they have to move out of the way, and she's like, Annie, teach me that move. And she's like, she says like, it only works for humans. And you think that's just like a dig of how cold Mikasa is, but like it goes so next level when you find out who the Ackermans are. And it's just like every little thing of this show just like is layers and layers.
Yeah, because I don't know if Annie would know that. But again, I don't know. It's one of those things where I didn't expect the Ackermans to be like super powered warriors, which is kind of what they are, exactly what they are, if I'm being honest. And again, that's why my Warhammer theory, as far as like maybe he's the super powered version of that for the Marleys. I don't know. I mean, I'm just making stuff up, but at the same time, it's one of those things where like Levi is just so GOAT level. He's so like Jordan level, as I said in my video. He's like Michael Jordan, where it's like, bro, unleash the Levi, unleash the Jordan. That's to score like 60 points.
Dude, like one of the videos we have to make, like, in between part 1 and part 2 of the season is top 5 Levi moments, because there's just so many.
There's a lot, yeah. Have you seen No Regrets?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And that especially, like, when the Titan like reached out his hand and then just gets like diced
exploded.
Up.
It just explodes.
It just like it gets cut so many times it explodes. But and especially, I know you're a fan of Reiner, but man, when he pops out of the wall and Levi's just right there to get him in the neck and then like get him in the heart, and he's like, dang it, like how do you kill him? And it's just like, oh, he's so good.
I can't lie, bro. Those were moments when I was watching the show, and I know I'm probably the only one, or at least I think I am, where I was like, yeah, Levi, and then I was like, yeah, Reiner, what's up, bro? Like I'm rooting for both of them, and then all of a sudden I have to pick a side.
See, for me, I'm so pro. I'm such a Levi stan that I was like up off my couch going, yeah, and I was like, come on, he's not dead. Oh, come on.
Yeah, but that's also my thing too, because I'm like a #1 Erwin fan. Erwin Smith is the character, and the fact that Erwin made Levi like his like chosen. I mean, he made Hanji his chosen successor, but the fact that he chose Levi as far as like making the final decision, what to do with the injection, that to me spoke a lot. As far as like, this is my top dog, this is my lieutenant, Levi's my boy. That's what makes me respect Levi more, if I'm being honest, is his connection to Erwin. But in reality, I was rooting for I was like, come on, Ryder, kick his ass.
It's like, I think my favorite one, it'll go like on our top 5 whenever we do it, but just like when Historia like she's like, oh, now you're queen, you can go punch Levi, and she does like the weakest little and then I laugh I've seen the season like 10 times, but I laugh every time when everybody goes, like the big anime reaction, and he just starts laughing, and it's such a great moment. But
yeah, Levi's great, man, because obviously he's like the curmudgeon, but he still like has a good heart inside.
Yeah.
So obviously I want to end with any favorite things or any favorite moments that we might not have gotten into that I might have forgotten. But I think pretty much this is teasing a future where they go to the Tibers and they go back to paradise, which is why I titled this video, "We're going back to paradise," or "We're going back." Any final things that you want to say before we close out the show?
Well, you see the bleakness of the camp with, the guy committing suicide off the roof.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. That was weird.
I was like, that flash of lightning, was someone spying on them? And then you see that, oh, I think it was a soldier. I think it was, the lead soldier, when the guy goes boom, and like the guy like ducked down and he was like this.
Yeah,
I think it was that guy. And that's just like the situation they're in, that like, oh, they just walk by it, because it probably happens every day of like people just not wanting to live the way they live in this world. And someone was saying in the chat, it's not really a spoiler, but that possibly the guy with the armband on his wrong arm like is a spy as well. Like that because we saw someone overhearing the conversation while they were walking between Gabby and Reiner. And then was it the same guy that was in line? He's like, oh, look, your armband's on the wrong arm. And I need to rewatch it, but that's a good point. I'm going to look for that now.
Can I say who I think it is? I mean, I don't know if it's
the guy reading the paper from last week.
No, I don't know why. I was like, is that Eren disguised and inside? Like, would they risk? Would Hanji risk like infiltrating Eren? Like, that's such a risk that I don't even know if they would do that.
I think there's no way that Reiner.
Obviously, don't tell us if it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please don't. This is pure speculation.
That's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute. What if Eren is infiltrating that? But that would be so risky that I don't see Hanji.
I don't think maybe someone. It could be a Paradiser for sure. Yeah, but I don't think they'd risk. They can't risk two Titans being lost in one fell swoop. Like they've got Armin, they've got Eren, they've got Hanji, and especially that like they have all these eggs in two baskets where, yes, Mikasa and Levi are the best soldiers out there, but Armin's their brain along with Hanji, but Armin's also the Colossal Titan. Eren's the founding and the attack Titan. So it's just like, that's why 5 people that need to save this world, and it's insane.
Yeah, that's why to me, when I saw that and I thought, I was like, oh, it looks kind of like Eren in a weird way, but I mean, obviously maybe just dark hair, that I was like, oh, dark hair. But then I was like, man, that would be so risky. That would be so risky that I'm just like, I don't even know if you would just be like, here, go to the Wolves, go to the Lions Den and hang out for a couple years.
It's something that Eren would do, though. It's something like whether or not he's ordered to do it, like I could see Eren sneaking aboard a ship and doing it by himself, and Mikasa's like waking up like, where, you idiot? Like I could definitely see Eren
would not let that happen.
No. Yeah. I could see Eren making this kind of like bold play, as Jim Halpert would put it for Michael Scott. Is bold the right word? I could see him making that kind of play, but I don't think he would do it without any permission, because Levi wouldn't let him, Hanji wouldn't let him, Mikasa wouldn't let him. Like, the rational people would not let him make this play.
Yeah. It's one of those things too, where, I mean, Mikasa was like, hey, Eren, put down those, like, what was he carrying? Like buckets? Hey, put down those buckets. You're going to get tired. I'm worried about you. And he's like, what the hell? Chill out. Like, I'm a man.
Leave me alone. I think it was just like carrying like literally like sticks for firewood. And she's like, give me that.
That's what it was.
Just took it.
Yeah. I was like, geez, like Mikasa's way too protective. But again,
even when they were going to fight for the wall, he's like, you don't need to steer my horse. I can steer my own horse. Like, I think she was like literally even like steering his own horse.
Yeah. The love is real, man. I can't wait to see her again once she pops up. But either way, guys, those are all our final thoughts. Obviously, I am so on board with Reiner, Attack on Titan. Reiner, what would the show be called? Reiner Armor Titan?
Armor on Titan. Armor on Titan.
Armor on Titan. Yeah, exactly. Or Armor Titan, if it was the correct translation. But either way, I'm so in on Armor Titan, the new Attack on Titan season.
I love it, man. Like, this is what a spin-off show should be. Like everyone should be taking notes of how effortless this spin-off show is. It's like, oh, you're referencing, Sasha with the potato. Like, that's a little member berries, but it's everything new. It's so great.
Can I say, I would say my favorite moment of this episode, besides like Piek being kind of funny and cool, was Reiner going up to all the little kids and putting his hand on their head and being like, Udo, Zofia, Gabi. And then he's like, Falco. And I was like, that's my boy. He loves all these little kids. He's like, what's up?
He loves them. Children. It's so good. He's and just like, especially with like how Gabby reacts to him, like she really looks up to him. Like and that's the thing is that I think Gabby wants to prove herself, but she also she loves Reiner, and like that's how they're expressing their love. Is like, I want to be the next you.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't mention that they're cousins. They're cousins, right?
Yeah, they are. They're related.
At first I was like, oh, is that his little sister? Because it kind of became a little sister type thing. But I was like, that'd be kind of, I don't know, maybe it's his little sister. And then they confirmed that they're cousins when he was like, hey, my dad said nephew to him. He's like, hey, nephew, what do you think of this? And she was like, stop it, Dad. And I was like, oh, they're cousins. That's why they have that brother-sister bond. They're actually related. Can I just say, too, I can't believe we're finishing on this moment. I don't know if you can bring it up, Ben, but that picture of the family reuniting, did I send you that? I don't even know if I did. If I didn't, it's fine. But it's one of those things where that moment to me really just destroyed everything as far as having to do with the Marleys and the Eldians. Because
with the kids or with the Reiner's family?
It's the one where this random guy goes up to his mother. I don't think we have that one. I don't think I sent it to you. My bad, dude. Okay. But it's one of those things where that moment of the internment camp gates opening up, like literally internment camp, and then you go inside and everyone is like, Mama, son, and they're all grabbing their kids and hugging them and like kissing them. And then we see each and every one of the little kids like Udo, Zofia, Gabby being like, Daddy, even Piek and Galliard going up to Zeke with
the grandparents, even when you know what he's done to Aaron's dad, someone like Aaron that you love, and you're like, yes. Stop! I want to hate you.
I thought the same thing. I was like, everybody but Zeke. But when Zeke was like almost tearing up when he was like, Grandpa, I was like, oh, damn it, Zeke, I want to hate you. You killed my boy.
like you wanted Zeke to be like, okay, I guess I'll go see my family. But no, like they're so happy because again, they did not expect to make it. Like it's one thing for the Zeke and Reiner to come back. They're a little more reserved because they have the Titan power. But everybody else is just like it's this. They want to be happy, but it's like just this slow, like just release of like it's exhaustion of like I'm home. Like it's my family. Oh my! Like even Reiner, he's like
Reiner. Like that broke my heart.
Like, it's like it was like Captain America moment where he's like, "No, I don't think I will." Reiner was like, "You know what? I think I will." It was so great.
I was like, "Dude, Reiner," because when Reiner was the last one, I was like, "Is Reiner not have a family? Is this going to be one of those moments where Reiner just like sits alone?" But when the mom comes in, he's like, "Reiner, welcome home," and Reiner was like, "Hey, mom." I was like, This is too much feels, bro. Too much feels.
Manipulating my emotions.
Yeah. Obviously, it makes us feel so different about the earlier seasons, and it still paints two different pictures of the same people fighting each other with different mentalities, which is almost even worse than anything we've seen. And what we see a lot in war. And that's why I like what Falco said as far as like this. I mean, he called him Vice Chief, which I thought was cool. Does Vice Chief Reiner want to stop this war as much as I do? I'm not sure yet, is what he was kind of talking to himself about. But either way, that was like probably that moment and the little kid moment were the two heartfelt moments for me that made the episode worth it in the end. So,
and either way, the more you think about it, it's so hard to see they're the same people, and they've literally been brainwashed into killing each other over and over again. And like I think Reiner's finally trying to break that cycle, and I'm really, really excited to see what happens.
Me too, man. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to have a happy ending, but we'll see what happens with these kids. Either way, Ben, where can everyone find you, man?
Tonight, I am doing a 24-hour stream for my birthday. Right. It's my birthday at midnight tonight, guys. So come on.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate
Yeah.
that. Twitch.tv/the Ben Goddard. I'll be there starting at like 5:45. So literally in like 40 minutes, I'm going to be going live. So come check that out, guys. Stop by, get some sleep, and then stop by tomorrow as well. I'll still be live. So, yep, that's where you can find me.
Awesome, man. That sounds exciting. Obviously, guys, please follow us right here at First Cut. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're obviously going to keep doing more Attack on Titan stuff, so make sure you tune in for that. I'm at Squad Leader Race, and make sure you guys tune in next week where we talk about episode 3. I'm excited to where this goes, and we'll see what happens. Either way, for the First Cut crew and for the Attack on Titan crew.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan. We're peacing out. Peace out, guys.